All right, welcome back. Let's continue with more news now. President Cyril Ramaphosa has called on members of BRICS to combine efforts and strengthen actions to end what he calls historical injustice in relation to the Palestine question. The president says the leader must work together to realize a just and peaceful future for Palestinians. So joining us now is SABC News International News Editor Sophie Mokoena for more. Sophie, good afternoon. Thanks for your time at this hour. Perhaps you could speak to his opening remarks. What are the sentiments that came through?
Well, the president made a passionate plea to members of BRICS and those who are participating. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you that live feed due to technical challenges. But he pointed out at what they can focus on in terms of trying to intervene in the current war between Hamas and Israel and looking at the impact of this war on ordinary civilians. He started by mentioning in terms of this current conflict where it started, but went back to say, but this is not the start of this tension, and the issue of the freedom of the Palestinians have always fought the Palestinians themselves that they want to be free, and therefore something must be done to ensure that they do realize that dream of being free, and also talking about a need to support the Palestinians at this critical moment. And he then mentioned the fact that there must be a ceasefire so that you can allow Palestinians, give them a breather, and secondly, the humanitarian corridors must be there so that we are able to move the relief assistance from different countries so that ordinary Palestinians can access water, food, and all what they need, particularly medicine, with the health sector now down on its knees, and also called for restraint from both parties, but including those who have vested interest in this conflict, because you find that people outside the conflict are the ones that are fueling this conflict, and it gets protracted because you have powerful countries behind these two countries and therefore putting forward demands before they can agree to ceasefire. And then secondly, the fourth issue is the release of civilians who were taken hostage by Hamas activists, and therefore saying that they must be released with immediate effect. That would include those who are in the prisons, citizens of Palestinians who have been imprisoned by Israeli. And then dialogue in terms of finding a solution, that must start immediately. And then the last important issue, he called for the deployment of the UN Rapid Force. You know that we had a similar force in the DRC and other hotspots on the continent. And how you put together that force, you bring together different countries to put together a force that will be under the auspice of the United Nations, because the United Nations on its own can't do that. And we know that yesterday, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, also pointed out that a way forward to ensure that the authority in Palestine, in West Bank, has control over Palestine. You have to ensure that the Palestinians are protected, and the only people who can guarantee their safety, their security, is neighboring countries that are supporting Palestine, but also that kind of a force. On the other hand, for Israel, you have powerful countries such as the United States of America giving security or supporting Israel, and also as a security guarantee for the Israelis.
So given the shift in geopolitics, the landscape, how will the strength and the unity of BRICS be tested this time round? And what also comes to the fore, given some of the other countries that have been invited this time round as well from the Arab world?
I think South Africa has been making a lot of noise, pushing that there should be ceasefire and talking about investigations that must be conducted, and finally presenting that, the documents in relation to the International Criminal Court to investigate Benjamin Netanyahu. But as a small country in the south of Africa, people were saying they can scream as much as they want. Now, you have a situation, this small country, part of this powerful group. Now you have Russia, you have China on the table, you have India, even though the prime minister, we are told, was not going to participate. You have Brazil, and these other countries that are going to join BRICS. It's Saudi Arabia, you have Iran. Yep. Now, look at the balance of forces now. Israel, on the other hand, it's America and its allies. So again, we are back to what was happening or what is happening in relation to the war in Ukraine, where one of the BRICS member countries has got support of other BRICS member countries. Yep. But in this case, a friend of a BRICS member country and other friends coming together to stand behind Palestine. And therefore, it does change the dynamics in terms of the balance of forces. And the Secretary General agreeing to participate speaks to his confidence in these countries also, not excluding the West, that they can play a role to broker peace. And therefore, I think the Americans, where they are really thinking very hard, and their allies, including Israel, where to from here. So I'm not surprised that last night the ambassador of Israel in South Africa was recalled for consultation. These are the issues that they are going to get first-hand information from him, including the issue of South Africa pushing that the International Criminal Court must investigate. And therefore now, Palestinians are not on their own. And I can tell you, I suspect that the statement that is going to come out of this meeting after the meetings, with Iran being there and all of them, those countries in the Gulf region or in the Middle East, we are going to have a strong story tonight.
We're going to leave that conversation there. Thank you very much for updating us. Of course, Sophie Mokoena is our international relations editor, just giving us an update about the sentiments that President Cyril Ramaphosa relayed. Obviously, chair of the BRICS, just that extraordinary joint meeting that's happening now. We've got BRICS countries and additional representation from Saudi Arabia, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, all coming out to listen in and perhaps look at the way forward in relation to what's happening in the Middle East. President Cyril Ramaphosa this afternoon, as I just mentioned, chairing that extraordinary joint BRICS meeting on the current situation in the Middle East. Leaders of BRICS countries invited various representatives as well.